Told you once, and I'll tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, and I'll the way I feel, here's my advice. And I'll tell you twice. The way I feel, here's my advice. I told you once, and I'll tell you twice.
Hello everyone, this is Tanika Drake, and I'm not really feeling too well, not just because I caught a cold, but my mind has been just thinking about how people can say things and without regard to how you might feel or how what their words might affect you might do, because basically they just don't care. So, I was thinking, as I've been creating stuff for the Podcasters Holiday Party, I sat here alone with the Lord and just alone by myself, thinking, not depressed, but thinking how I'm still alive. Some people don't understand when I pray, and I pray for the same thing, that's very precious to me. I will lose my life for the Lord Jesus Christ. If it have to be so, then let it be. But for someone who you married, that they said with their lips that they loved you, they would protect you, they would honor you, and the very person is attacking you. Let me tell some people something, and I don't know if they will hear this. Our experiences, yes, they do change how we see life. However, your experience is valid to you. So for someone else to say something and to think that you are weak for coming out of domestic violence is absolutely rubbish and garbage. And I will continue to be in my own capacity and stand for those who don't have words to speak, can't leave their situation, want to, but they can't. And I use that word can't because that word is a barrier. It's full out stop. And I want you to know, whoever you are that might be listening, yes, God sees. He sees every punch. He sees every kick. He sees every time you've been raped. For those of you that think that, oh, well, you should just get over it. You don't get over being raped. And for women, that's the worst feeling you could have. I've been raped several times outside of my husband who did that. Sexually assaulted as well. And let me tell you something, to have your virtue and have things taken off of you and to be groped and fondled in such a way that you are trying to fight off a man who is more powerful than you and you are restrained, let me tell you, no, you don't just move on from that. No, you don't just forget the memory of laying on the bed as you are being devoured in a manner that is not loving, in a manner that is unkind, that all you can do is stare at the ceiling and have tears just flow. Any man that I meet in the future, I will never allow to have that experience with me again. And what I mean by that is I will make sure that I do everything in my power to look for that man who's going to say something and do another. I love to watch how men act. They show me who they are. And now for this particular time, I love God so much. When you're in the midst of being choked and you can barely breathe, and your spouse says to you, I'll go to jail for assault, you know that your life is worth garbage at that moment. That person doesn't care if you die. That person doesn't care if someone else kills you. That person has no regard for your life. Your life is worthless in their eyes. So let me tell you guys something. If you have someone in your life or in your church or at your job that's going through domestic violence and abuse, a word of wisdom to you. Stop telling them they need to pack up and leave when you don't know what it's going to take for them to do that. You have no idea what kind of hell they have to survive to live and what it's going to take and require of them to leave that situation. And in order to stay and be in something like that, for me, I had to pray and read my word, even when I didn't understand what I was reading, even when the tears glossed over my eyes like glasses. And all I could see is a tear fall to the page of the Bible. And all I can remember reading is that my people will have a peaceful place, a peaceful dwelling place. I just wanted peace. Is it wrong to want peace? Is it wrong to want respect? Is it wrong to want dignity? Is it wrong? My skin color already makes me wrong by society's standards. But thank God those standards aren't God's standards. My gender makes me wrong by society's standards. Thank God he made me and he has something for me to do. And I really, at this point, when anybody talks about domestic violence and abuse to me and says, that's no excuse, I have a problem with that. And not only does it hurt, but it slaps me in the face for everything I had to go through, all the hell that I had to endure, the things I had to do, the things that my children had to suffer through. You don't know. You have no idea. You have no clue. So on this station, when I am speaking and I am sharing on God's gift through his word, I share from a place of pure heart. My heart, yes, God has already said it is wicked, but because I've lived through hell, I can empathize with someone going through abuse and trauma. No matter what kind it is, I can empathize. If you cannot understand a person living through, enduring, and they still get up in the morning with the will to fight and live, you don't know. Have you ever had to have your kids with you living in a homeless shelter, going back and forth to a family that's abusive? No, you have not. Do you know what it means to have nothing and be homeless? And still have to hide from the husband that still wants to find you? Do you know what that's like? No, of course not. But that's why I wrote a book called The Gift of Finding God's Love, Guilt, and Shame Turned into My Shine. I do not know, and I'll be transparent with you, if I will ever allow a man to get close to me again as far as physical intimacy. I have been violated time and time and time again, used as a dumping ground, used as a punching bag, used up, abused, thrown away, discarded, and then the person moves on to the next. And for me, unless the Lord sends that man that is truly designed for me, I have no intentions on looking for another man to harm me. And it's not a wall. It's not a wall. It is me walking this time with my eyes open and well aware that I need to think, that the knowledge, that the hurt is now knowledge. And now that I have been hurt, now that it is my knowledge, now that I see signs, I look for them and I listen intently and I watch people's behaviors. I try my best to convey a loving spirit with even those who don't believe as I do. I try to show a kind spirit. I really do make a serious attempt not to attack people. I attack what the word says. I use the word to the best of my ability and comprehension, and I share it as fiercely and as passionately as I can. However, I know my views are not the same of all, but this I will say, my faith brought me through. I could not have gotten out of that situation without the Lord Jesus Christ. I could not have gotten out of that situation. I would never, ever been able to leave had the Lord not stepped in and said, you know what? It's time for me to move you. And by the Lord orchestrating everything in my life so that I was able to leave, the freedom I felt, the shackle that was dropped. Oh, it was beautiful. For the first time, I felt free. And now that the last part of what I had with the last link in the chain has dropped off, I am free. I'm free. And you guys don't know what it is to be trapped, but freedom is not free. I'm talking from me as domestic violence, and I'm also talking as a veteran. Military people sacrifice their lives to fight for a country where people are so ungrateful sometimes. You see veterans, you don't help them. They're struggling. People don't help them, only little bits of people, and they are struggling themselves for a country that loves their veterans. They don't provide them as much opportunities as they should. For mothers who are trying to get work, but with all their children and their complexities, they are unable to. We need to stop painting this broad brush that everybody in this country is a patriot and everybody in this country understands about domestic violence, because they don't. And for me to be a veteran that's gone through domestic violence, I understand that there is pain and some people have suffered so much so. I want to help my women veterans. And right now, as I have been thinking about the nonprofit that I will still do, but for now, I'm going to lay it down because there are so many people just robbing me. I don't have the money to be robbed, and I give it out thinking I'm going to get help. But nobody helps. All they want is the money. And they get their money, I pay them, and then I'm left with just documents, no help, no team, nobody cares. And for me to do the work to help these veterans where I can see childcare is a barrier for my beautiful women who want to go to work and they have no childcare. Being retrained and getting new skills, they need help. Having that personal me time to just enjoy just being a woman and just you with other women to just laugh and let the cares of the world just fall away. Where is that? That's what I want to build. I want to help. And I will. It may not be right now.